This little bit I might as well tack onto the head of the next part. This goes back to that book, Writing Solid Code. You recall, I went over and mentioned in a previous episode the two critical questions that every time you find a bug, especially a bug of this nature, you must always ask yourself what he calls the two critical questions, which are coming up right somewhere around here. I already passed it, or it's coming right up. Passed. It's right at the beginning. Oh, here we go. A, how could I have automatically detected this bug? That I haven't got an answer for yet. And how could I have prevented this bug? Well, the automatic detection I'm going to do this way. First, I need to find out all cases in my code where I'm using high word and low word. I can't undefine them for things that header file, like the Microsoft header files. But here is a place where I undefined min and max, and so I think I'm past the header files at this point. I mean not my header, not my code stuff. But what I can do is I can push them. Is it push macro? How does that work? Something like that. Okay, pragma push macro. I may need to bring them back again if there's an include of some external headers and stuff. Then I need to pop them back temporarily. So I do that, undefine them. And what I'd like to do is replace these with some new macros that just do the shortcast first. If they are intended to be signed values, so I'll have new high word, which is unsigned, definitely unsigned. What password for this? This is called word of x, which is a 32-bit value. The high word, whoops, 16 bits. Now, do I need to put braces around that? Not really, because you shouldn't put an expression in here like x plus 27 or something, right? I guess you could, and you'd want the high word in. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So we'll do that. And I have something for this. It's called uint. And U lower, same cast. Now I could put U short actually to emphasize, or show that they're similar. Yeah, that's the low word, so we just leave X and that, right? Okay. And then we want signed high word, which is int. Try to make it line up. Doesn't really do it. I like S int. And signed low word. This part's the same. It's just the cast. Now that should cause lots of problems, but at least it will locate everything for me. That's the automatic prevention part. So that answers the automatic prevention. Get rid of high word and low word completely, so it can't be used, and force myself to have to choose whether or not I want a signed or an unsigned value. Okay, so this is signed low word. That's signed. Signed. This is unsigned. Oh, let's use a command. Those are taken care of. This command set. That's the unsigned value. Same with this. Those are taken care of. And, again, this is a printf type thing. Unsigned. Anyway, sorry, I know it's tedious, I'll clip some of this out. Hello there, and welcome to part B of number 225. Or actually get to explaining how I did what I did. But first, I'd like to make this a bit bigger. One. Put that there. And I want to add color, and this gives me an opportunity to show you how the color dialog works. Now, whoops. I'll move this up here a bit. I want to make a bit more space. Well, I can just put a button. I'm going to ask it to stay. Color, we'll call it ID, not here, this one. IDC, choose color. We'll call it color. I'd like it to look more. What do the color buttons normally look like? Colors. Oops. How can I make it colorful? In the toolbox, it's colorful. Well, what I could do is put it behind something visibly and click it if someone touches that thing, maybe. Or put something colorful beside it. Put this like this, small, and put now the way I usually, I don't know what this picture control is. What is it? I'm sure I don't want a special class. It says static color. What does that mean? Is it just a box? Like, if it doesn't do anything, then I'm fine with it. Like, I usually use, I'll use a custom control, and I don't do anything with it, but I use the coordinates or the size to know where to put something else. Whoops. It needs to be smaller. I want it to look like some colors. I won't do that now, I guess. See, now I could paint inside here like some rainbow colors. That wouldn't be very hard. If this thing has its own device content, what doesn't matter. I just need to find the region, get a brush, and choose 3 rectangles and 3 colors and draw them. How hard can that be? How hard could that be? Couldn't be that hard. It's gotta have a name. IDC rainbow. But the thing I'm worried about is that it might try to do. The system might try to do something with it. All I want to do is draw there. But I like the fact that it's got a little border, and I could make it sink in a bit. See? How hard would that be? I can get the device well, it'd have to be on W1 page. If I get the device context of the dialog. There's the dialog. There's this dialog prop. Here, take it out of here. Put it down here at the bottom. That's new function dialog. The outer shell. Come on. What's wrong now? Oh god, let's see. What was the thing just below that? Anything? No. Oops. Nothing else, right? Okay. I added registry keys for all of them guys. Okay. Else, and I'll say else. If it's a WM pane, come on. Dot, come on. I'm including everything. That's still not saying it. Oh, wait. It's saying it. Yeah, okay, it's saying it. I need a brush. No, I can do that at the beginning. See, and a brush. Wish you could. You can't. I know you can make a brush that has different patterns, but I'll have to make 3. Let's see. What are the colors of the rainbow? Yellow, cyan-ish, and not purple, not magenta exactly, bright magenta. I can create those with it. Dialog if I wanted. Create. See, there's a DIB pattern, but I'm not sure how that works. I don't know that. Oh, hash style. I don't know what that is. Let's just try solid. New color. Yellow. Now this does seem like a diversion, doesn't it? It is a bit of a diversion. But isn't it fun? Only if it works, that's fun. If it doesn't work, I can do like I did with the last section, which it went on for over 30 minutes. I cut it all out. Cyan. How about light cyan? No, I just want regular cyan. I want light for the other one. Light magenta. I think it'll look nice. Okay. TS red, RCT rainbow, get red. Now is that the client rec or the screen? I think it's the screen rec. No, maybe it's the client rec. Computer blah blah blah. Dimensions are in screen form. Well, how do you get the? I mean, I can just add the client rec. Oh, actually, yeah. See, my other window thing is better. It has get taking a Boolean client or screen, and that does the adjustment. Now, what do you think? What do you bet I've got a get client rec function? It doesn't matter, does it? When you do it, you can. Oh, okay, well, skip this. I'll do it later. Now, the way this thing works. Let me get to this in my own time. What I found out was I went online and I figured this must be a standard, you know, everybody does this sort of thing. It's all over the place with all those not property, those common controls, you know, those nifty common controls, like the file open one. If I run this thing, does it even run? Do I break something? I add, for the save thing, I add a little checkbox on the bottom. And the way I do that is because is by supplying a resource identifier. And the resource is that one in my lib directory. In here, with this softened cust, that's save open file name customization. I don't have one for open file, just open file name. But actually I've added some other resources in here, so now this has just become a random name. It doesn't have any meaning. I think it sounds pretty good. It sounds technical. Now what they do is an unknown to me. See this? This is a part of my custom control, right? Now if I click this, right, and I press tab, I'm still moving around the control. It's part of this dialog box, right? Whereas what I'm doing, which is probably, oh dear God, what have I done? What have I done? Oh. What did I change? It was so great. I added a picture control. Let's undo what I did. I think that picture control does more than just, oh my God, it's still all messed up. What else did it doesn't even have buttons anymore. What did I change? I move this inside. Oh, and handling every message. When I set in the focus, this should return true. If I return, well, I was returning garbage, but garbage is typically not 0, and 0 is false meaning I have not handled the message. Please let the default handler handle the message, like mouse move and repaint and all that stuff, which I'm not handling. So that happens to me quite often. Alright, now these things, what I'm doing, okay, what I've done here is what I read about when I went looking online. Somebody was trying to do this, and they said, well, what you do is take the resource, whatever it is, and just create dialogue. There's the do modal function calls dialogue per box param or something. But there's two kinds of dialog box functions which are similar. One of them is called dialog box and dialog box param. So here. Okay, now the param bit is so that you can add a parameter to your dialog. On init dialog, this parameter is passed in when WM init dialog occurs. But underneath here, there's the other way to start a dialog, and that's this one. Still from file. I like to have these cons whenever they work. Sometimes they don't because these are macros. And that's probably why I don't have them. Anyway, all this does is it creates the dialogue in memory, or from the resource. Oh, it worked. But it doesn't show it, and it doesn't run it or anything, and that's it. At this point, what you have is what's called a modeless dialog box. You can show it, right, and it'll appear on the screen wherever it is, unless it's obscured by something. And it will receive messages since it's part of your program, and your program will dispatch messages to various active windows that are around. And if you set the parent, apparently, of a dialog through this create dialog param, this parameter here, then it should move along with the window and become part of the window. But that's not exactly what's happening. Although it is, it does appear to be a child window. Like if you look at SPY, and that gives you the hierarchy. What I do is I call this create dialog box, create dialog param. So I use this function, and then I call show window, so it's visible, right? And then I position it so that it appears in this box. All right. So now we look at SPY. It'll tell us whether or not that's its own window or if it's a child. So I take the dialog and we'll look at all the windows in the dialog. Oh, wait a minute now. This is different. Well, anyway, you can see it's part of the underneath the dialog, right? Oh, wait a minute. Combo box. That's not it. Where is it? What's it called? Let's give them names. Cancel button, static, select function type. Oh, well, it's changed. Okay, let's try that other one. It's also a dialog. It's a top level window. Oh, well, that makes sense now. Well, it shouldn't be because I set it as I passed in the parent window. See, because that's what was confusing me as it before. I had it appearing as a child, and it wasn't. I thought anyway that it wasn't behaving like a child, even though it was a child, because I checked the SPY. But now SPY is agreeing with the observation. So here's what happens. When I get a control notify from my box with the list of functions, now this here is just I'm trying to manage what index goes with which property sheet sort of thing, right? And I say it is a new something dialog HWin. Now that HWin gets passed through to here, and then here, and then to dialog. So when I get to the create call, it should be setting. That's not just knowing the object doesn't create it, but it should set the variable, which you'll see. Or maybe it won't. Maybe that's the bug. Okay, handle to window is valid. Now that should call this constructor. It's a name. This is the register for the registry. Okay, we have the registry. Now this should, again, we're going to be in the registry. Okay, great, we got a registry. Reg create, yes. Where's TS dialog? Reg destroy. What the heck? Oh, that's that other reg. I see, there was a temporary reg. Where is it? Okay, well, even if it never goes to TS dialog constructor, we should be able to see that at this point M here has an H1 parent, and this is the M that's the TS dialog members. Okay, that's fine. Why is this? No, it's not TS dialog member. No, yeah, it is. We don't have it. We haven't been created yet, but we have a parent. See, our thing it's just being constructed as a piece of memory. Now when we get out of this, we get to the next line. Now this thing will end up in all I'm doing is creating a dialog, right? And I already had that set up. So on this create call, the dialog proc of this object will get entered with WM init dialog as one of the messages. Now the sawtooth function that's here, right? And TS dialog create is going to call create dialog param instance template ID handle to parent not null and the thing. Either there's something wrong with this function or this parent can be. Oh, maybe I have to move this. Okay, I have an idea that maybe I have to set something. Like if I call this doesn't do anything. Okay, we're in here again. It doesn't matter. See, here's the problem: is that if the tab key doesn't work, and there's two windows. If I click in here, you see how this became gray. Now I click out here, and it's proper color again. So there's actually two windows here, separate top level windows, and that's not what I want. I want what the other thing does. But anyway, that's all you got to do to get at least this crummy version working. Is you just create a dialog using create dialog, and if it's possible, you can try and set the parent. And that's what that other guy did. Now I tried doing that, and something bad happened. Let me just see. There's a property called child or control. You're never supposed to set it. Maybe I could try setting it. See what happens. Where's child? Oh God, where's child? I know I just can't see it. Hang on a sec. No parent notify, menu, local edit, control parent. No, I don't know. Extends dialog to children of this window. No. Creates a dialog that works well as a child of another dialog. Okay, we want that. But it hasn't become a child. So there's a function called setChild. And I tried calling it and something bad happened. But I don't see this. Usually is it just that one is missing it? Because I've seen this thing before. Maybe that, like a child window. Find, click. That's appearance. Control. Control parent says true. I wonder what this does. Extends navigation. Yeah, okay. So it's a parent of controls, okay. Well, we can try it. We can see what happens. We can try it. After the thing is created, and something bad's sure to happen, but who knows. H window child. It has an H window at this point. Now H wind is myself. That's my. Now apparently that should set its parent to be the outer dialog. Is that enough braces? But what happens instead is it seems to become it seems like it does the opposite. It makes the outer dialog become its child. Alright. Here goes. Watch this. See, I can't, nothing works. It's completely hung. The whole program's hung. It's just taken over. So that's what I mean by this. This was the advice given to in the article I read. But how am I supposed to make this a child? What does the help say? Maybe the set child function. That would be easier. Set parent H1 child handles the child window. Handle choose a new parent. If no, blah blah blah. If succeeds, the value to handle the previous parent window. Well, if fails, returns no. Okay, so it has to be a child window, but I can't set its style to be child. Therefore, if new parent is no, okay, so it's not no, but maybe we can set its style. Sure, that's definitely I've seen these things. It says child, somewhere in here. Oh, maybe it's oh, there it is. So what if I set this to child? Oh no, but they said that whatever you do, don't. Well, we gotta try it. We gotta try it. And this will be the same. And I gotta get rid of that code. And hopefully it'll just work. Then I shouldn't need to move it. But God knows where it'll go. Well, I gotta set its positions somewhere. That's a problem too, is once it's a child in some functions they're gonna return client coordinates. Oh, dialogue's not dead. Now this looks like the situation I had before. I couldn't see it, but I could see it in Spawn. There it is, see? Now it is a child, but it's invisible. Or it might be there, but it might, God knows what's its position. 16th, oh, it's off screen. Okay, so what if I don't reposition it? Now this could be work, this could work. On move, just get rid of that on move. Let's take it away. Oh, I gotta put it somewhere. But it'll be in relative. Okay, maybe it'll show up in the corner, but that's okay. I can adjust. Just like I move buttons around, I can adjust its position in the same manner by inventing a dozen functions that work with only client coordinates. But I don't have to invent them because they already exist in the other class, which I'm gonna merge them. That's my next thing. I know it's a diversion for me, but it's got to be done. I need all those other little functions. I gotta put them together. There it is. It might be moving with the window. It disappeared. Hey, wait a minute. I didn't change that. Both of them to child. Only one of them. Okay, that's the one. This one is the actual child, and the other one's a top level window. Okay. Once it's a child, then it'll receive when I tab around it, it should receive focus and so on. Okay, so that's all there is to it, really, except I haven't really explained anything, have I? Part of the answer is to don't use the do modal or execute type functions. Use the create functions. And make sure that it's a child. It's got the child style. Okay, and the next step after that, I'll tell you about as soon as I figure it out. See ya. Although, actually, I'll append it to this. So I have part of this. This will be part 2, and I'll append the rest when I know. Well, wouldn't you believe it? I did it. I managed to do it, and this thing is still hasn't done that's encoding the last one. But through a lot of experimentation, I discovered I actually have a thing that there's a function in Windows called getClientRect, which you pass a rect object to it, and it returns to you exactly 2 numbers. That is, the top left corner of that rect is always 0. The meaning of the getClientRect Windows API function is to get the client rectangle for a window with respect to itself. That is, all it gives you is the size. Okay. Now, if you want to turn that into client coordinates with respect to something else, like the dialog, you got to use the client screen to client function. That's all it does here. First, one gets the screen rect, of the thing, whatever the window is. And then the way I've done it here is I've created 2 points, top left and bottom right, for the screen rect, and map those 2 points using this screen to client. In fact, I think this screen to client can take an array of points, but whatever. And then that rect now is relative, a rectangle is the size of the thing. This rect is the rectangle, this rectangle, the rectangle of the thing where the other one's supposed to go inside. Now this is a rectangle which is in client coordinates for that box. Now I added this function quickly. The screen rect of this thing that has an H-wind. I can't use, it's not a control, so I can't give a control identifier. It's a child, but it has an H-wind, and I don't have a similar function that takes an H-wind. I could add one, but it's also, I could add that. But this screen rect is good enough, because all I need is, in fact, client rect would have been good enough for this one, a 0, 0 thing. All I want is its size. Okay, and then I take note of that for printing. It's not important. Then I take this, I call this the functions rectangle, the function parameter thing, and center it on the client rectangle props. Okay, so now this is a rect, which if it were being interpreted as client coordinates with respect to the dialog, would have the right position for my window, or a dialog, or whatever. Now here's the important thing. You can show that window all you like, but it's not going to appear unless it's at least in the Z order above this H-wind, right? Like it's the window manager draws the windows in a certain order, okay, and that's called the Z order, and it draws from lowest Z to highest Z. So the thing with the highest Z, I don't know if the number is lower or higher, but the topmost thing is the last thing that gets drawn. And what this function does, this is a multi-purpose function, always the worst. It has it's 1,000 things it can do, but one of the things it can do, it's supposed to do, is insert your window that you pass into it in Z order wise after the second H-wind that you pass to it. See? The handle of the window to precede the positioned window in the Z order. It can be a window or one of these values. None of these were any good. Now, since it's a multi-purpose function, it can also move the window at the same time. So I decided to use that feature, and I passed in the coordinates, left, top, width, and height, which is what this asks for. This function happens to work in client coordinates. Blah, 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 blah. Now it doesn't say it explicitly, but I know it does. It says it somewhere else. Right, in client coordinates, see? In client coordinates. Now, what do they mean by client? Well, which client are they talking about? They must be talking about the client who is the owner of this window, right? It has to be. There's nothing else to specify which window is the client, right? So here's your window. Or if it knows that both of these windows have the same parent, so the client coordinates have to be the client with respect to the parent, and so therefore these coordinates should be with coordinates with respect to the upper left corner of the client area of the parent dialog window. Now it can also move it, so move the Z order. You can also have it show the window while you're in the middle of doing that too. So I decided to add that on too. Well, show window and set its position and set its Z order all at the same time. The window showed up perfect. As soon as I tried to drag it, it disappeared. And that's what was happening before. So I thought, okay, fair enough. What I'm going to do, instead of mucking around with it, it worked that time, and that time the whole thing was followed with an on move. So I have this on move, I brought it back to life, and removed what it was doing before, and now all it does is on move, set window pause of the H1 after the properties thing. No move, no size, so don't move it, don't resize it, but show it. Okay? And that worked. Watch this. Now it's working like it's part of the dialog, just as I wished I could have happen. Here it is, moves with the window. I'm not moving it, right? It's getting the tab, like I'm tabbing to it and being able to use that. If I hit escape, instead of it going blink, 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 it'll escape. This isn't changing color anymore. It's working perfectly. And that's exactly what I want. And so that's how you do it. Okay? So that's great. And now I can do all the rest and then get rid of all these commented things. That's a solved problem. There's no need to look for another solution. This works perfectly. It's unfortunate that there's this extra step that nobody tells you about. But that's the way it goes. So I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. I needed this to center on, and that's it. In fact, this I want to do this for all of the things. So I can move this out and put it here. No, this. Yeah. I'm guaranteed that I will have a thing. Yes. Otherwise, there's a return here. If there's no match, then there's a return. So this was already here, and now I have a since it's a smart pointer. Like what I do is I copy I have another smart pointer of the same type, where I copy the one out of the list I'm maintaining. I don't destroy them, I just hide and show them once they're made. And this is like the current active one. Okay, get the window rect of the thingamajigamy. center it on the client rectangle for that, move it this way, and now it should work for all windows. When I add more, it will work for all of them. And I plan to add lots more, so I don't want to have to, cut and paste this in every case. In fact, it's fully, adding more things is almost fully automated. When I fill up the combo box, I also fill up the list, even just with nulls. And I match index in combo box with index in the list, so that each one knows where its position is in the list of the property sheet things. And so there's a one-to-one correspondence between the combo box and the list of things. It's great. It is absolutely wonderful. Okay, and notice how this is all weird? That's because it's saving its stuff. They have their stuff saved in the registry. So if I did it again, it shows that. Remember, it's perfect. I mean, now I've been making heavy use of that type name, to get the names of these polymorphic types. So now I got this memory leak, and I don't want the memory leak, but I have code elsewhere. I'll locate it that can filter out these ones in particular that are due to type ID. Okay, see you. One last little treat. My rainbow. See ya.